Climate change and biodiversity. Just imagine a world where temperature regularly reaches 50 degrees centigrade, where the Rhine and Aare have dried up, where malaria is rampant in Nairobi, where Salvador, New York, and Mumbai have disappeared under the sea, where rice is scarce in India and Himalayas have no snow left. Impossible? Think again. This is the world of climate change, and it's beginning to happen right now.
In recent years, strong cyclones have been developing in Arabian Sea more frequently than earlier. Cyclone Taukte, classified as a very severe cyclonic storm, is one such example. It is the fourth cyclone in consecutive years to have developed in Arabian Sea. Arabian Sea, though larger than Bay of Bengal, has been warming at faster pace, satisfying the conditions of formation of tropical cyclone. This phenomenon is directly associated with global warming. Recently changing wind patterns in India, Pakistan and frequent cyclones in Indian Ocean created the suitable breeding condition for locust, which caused havoc, damaging at least 2 lakh hectares of crops across 10 states in India.
The negative Indian Ocean Dipole 2 distorts the Indian monsoon pattern that is crucial to carry out agricultural activities across the country. Uttarakhand recently experienced a glacier outbreak due to climate change. This massive flash flood took away hundreds of livelihoods. The water level rise, followed by an avalanche, were indeed destructive in nature. Bandipur, a dry deciduous forest in Karnataka, has a history of forest fires, but they are usually confined to a specific range. However, in 2019, nearly 127 major fires had reduced swaths of forest land to ashes at Bandipur in just few days. Though many animals had managed to escape, considerable animal deaths were reported. Changes in fire regimes have an impact on community composition, affecting genetic diversity.
The Kannur flood, Belgaum flood, Assam flood, all happened in just a year and are recurring. All these examples are merely the symptoms of the sick earth. As the Nobel Peace Prize recipient Albert Arnold Gore rightly says, the struggle to save the global environment is in one way much more difficult than the struggle to vanquish Hitler. For this time, the war is with ourselves. We are the enemy. Just we have only ourselves as allies.
India is a home to over 1,690,000 species of fauna and over 47,800 species of flora, which have been documented in the 10 biogeographical zones of the country. This diversity is hosted by many types of terrestrial and aquatic systems, namely forest, wetlands, grasslands, deserts, coastal and marine ecosystem. Himalayas, Western Ghats, Indo-Burma and Sundaland are the 4 hotspots present in India of total 35 globally identified biodiversity hotspots.
Biodiversity provides health, wealth, food security and many other needs of human beings. And yet, the human beings have been using these indiscriminately, and the resultant loss of biodiversity threatens the very survival of the planet itself. Anthropogenic threats such as untreated wastes from municipalities, agricultural and industrial sources, some unregulated tourism have all contributed to climate change.
Now, let us see the impact of climate change on biodiversity.
Change in ambient temperatures shifts or changes the species and population phenology, leading to alterations or loss of biotic interactions. Changes in annual and seasonal precipitation changes community composition. Drought has decreased the density and persistence of greenleaf warblers on their wintering grounds in the western Ghats of South India. Due to the reduced frost and enhanced photosynthetic rate, fast-growing species like wattles and eucalyptus also would be enabled to spread to grassland areas, outbeating the slower-growing forest trees and shrub species. Increasing dry season length would increase the risk of forest fires in most of the dry deciduous forests of India. Mountain ecosystems are projected to shift to higher elevations. For the species that are already at the maximum altitude, there seems to be no option but to extinct. The chia peasants, primarily limited to Jammu and Kashmir regions, are declining. The genus Tychobaris and the Ladakh snow trout is now thought to be extinct, which are also unique to the Himalayan hotspot.
India has coastline of 8,129 kilometers with coral reefs found in abundance in Gulf of Kutch, Gulf of Mannar and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. The Ran of Kutch in India supports one of the largest greater flamingo colonies in Asia. With sea level rise, these salt marshes and mud flats are likely to be submerged, which would result in decreased habitat for breeding flamingos and lesser floricans. India depends on the mangroves of the Sundarbans for protection against storms and floods. As climate change destroys mangroves and worsens storm in the region, it puts lives and livelihoods at risk. These coastal mangrove forests provide habitat for species such as Bengal tiger, Indian otters, spotted deer, wild boars, and many more. With a 1 meter rise in sea level, the Sundarbans are likely to disappear, which may spell the demise of the tiger and a large loss of wildlife, useful biodiversity, and lifestyle.
Ocean acidification, reef fishing, uncontrolled tourism, and also the natural calamities, including cyclones, pose the threat to coral reefs. As the demand of plastic grew, so did the plastic industries. The bottle caps, shopping bags, containers are being reported from the ocean. Marine animals are killed due to the ingesting plastic or by getting entangled in it. It has degraded the natural aesthetic value of the coastlines as well as the human health.
Water, the most needed, the most wasted, the worshipped, and the feared. Water is life. However, because of climate change, river deltas see an incursion of salt water as sea levels rise, affecting agriculture. The floods will also see submergence of forest areas and land, thus resulting in loss of biodiversity. Available records suggest that Gangotri Glacier is retreating by about 30 meters per year. As the rate of glacier melting gets higher, flash floods can be expected. The Indian part of Thar Desert hosts 6.4% of endemic plant species, many of which are threatened. Ceropegia bulbosa is one such threatened species whose ecological niche modeling revealed its very few and sparse population.
To know the public opinion on climate change, we have interviewed two persons, a school-going kid and a professor of university. Come, let's check what they have told us.
ಮೈಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಉಲ್ಲಾಸ್. ನಾನು ಜ್ಞಾನದೀಪ ಶಾಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಓದುತ್ತಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಗಿಡ ಮರ ಬೆಳಕು ಗಾಳಿ ಪ್ರಾಣಿ ಪಕ್ಷಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆದರೆ ನಾವು ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ಸ್ ನೇಚರ್ನ ಹಾಳು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ಒಂದು, ನಾವು ಗಿಡ ಮರಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾಶ ಮಾಡಿ ಕಾಡನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾಶ ಮಾಡಿ ಪ್ರಾಣಿ ಪಕ್ಷಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಮನೆ ಇಲ್ದಂಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಪ್ರಾಣಿ ಪಕ್ಷಿಗಳು ರೈತನ ತೋಟಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ಬಂದು ಹಾಳು ಮಾಡುತ್ತಿದೆ. ನಾವು ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ತಡೆಯಲು ನಾವು ಗಿಡ ಮರಗಳನ್ನು ಬೆಳೆಸಬೇಕು.
From the Indian perspective, understanding climate change on agriculture is very, very important, basically because 70% of the Indian population depends on agriculture. High light intensities and intermittent droughts reduce the crop productivity considerably. So in order to sustain productivity and reduce the climate change, it's very important to bring about changes in the current cultivation practices. In doing so, the greatest challenge is to educate our farmers and convince them, our poor ill-educated farming community.
The greatest threat to our planet is the belief that someone else will save it. As the citizens of Earth, it's our obligation to unite and work together for the sustenance of life on the only planet we are allowed to live in. A layman always anticipates that it is the duty of the government authorities to keep environment healthy. Some exemplary individuals like Sundarlal Bahuguna, Vandana Shiva, Salumarada Timmakka, and NGOs like Paryavaran Mitra, Greenleaf NGO, and many more have immensely contributed in their own ways possible and have proved that individuals can make a difference. Because
blaming would be insane, as each of us is a contributor somewhere. A second chance if given so. Let's make the nature happy as she was ancient while ago. For the Mother Earth has other children, and prove not the humans are the demon. Because neither you nor I have the idea what's beyond the sky. As the world prepares to address the global environmental issues, we must not forget that the Earth has an option to live without the humans, but we humans cannot live without the Earth. The question is not about will, but when. So let's go green before the green goes.